this notion that the world is ending will fade because America did what America does. We got up, we went to work, the sky didn't fall, there aren't dead women lying in the streets. That's the advantage that we have, is hearts and minds. And now that it's leaving DC, it is leaving where we, the pro-life movement, have just suffered through so many disappointments over the last 50 years. It's just been so disappointing. And it is going back to the grassroots, which is our strength and the abortion industry's weakness, especially these independent places, and particularly Planned Parenthood, because they don't have an effective leader like they've had in the past, fortunately. And they're very fragmented, and they don't know what they're going to do. And over the next 12 months, we are going to see a lot of abortion facilities closed. There have already been 12 so far. And I think we're going to see a lot of mayhem. We're going to see Planned Parenthood affiliates. There are about 55 affiliates. They compete against one another. It's very cutthroat. They're going to have to close. They're going to have to merge. And they're going to have to come to places like Overland Park and build new abortion facilities and do those types of things. And that is what we're going to see play out over the next 12 months. But we are going to see dozens, if not hundreds, of abortion facilities close over the next 2 years, because the one thing we have learned, and we know over the last 15 years, is that distance, there is no greater deterrent for an abortion than distance. It's not money. That's why the CEOs are so out of touch. You find the money. Any one of us would find the money to get out of our greatest fear, something that we thought would embarrass us or embarrass our parents or we were ashamed of. $500 is a great deal. That's why there's so many abortions. And it's not the money, it is distance. Because when women have more time to think, when they have more options, particularly with advice and aid next door, they will choose life. We have the data on that. We know that's a fact. And that is going to happen, and that is going to play out over the coming months and years in a post-Roe America. So I want to encourage you that we're winning, that it's good news, and the more bizarre things start to look, and the stranger it gets, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. They should sit back and say this is an attack on women's health care and leave it at that. And they're not. They're now arguing about heartbeats at 6 weeks for a baby. That is not a place the abortion industry has ever wanted to be. And now that's what they're doing. So we are winning through hearts and minds because we're in the grassroots. And the grassroots is more important now than ever before. So I want to encourage you, when they start building new abortion facilities, and that's certainly, it's happening in New Mexico, it's happening in California. During the Dobbs case in Mississippi, we've had 40 Days for Life campaigns in front of that abortion facility in Jackson, Mississippi, since 2007. It was one of the original cities. Could never close that place. And they always said the same thing to the media, which is everybody's inner eugenicist comes out after Roe was overturned. You start to see the real heart of the matter, because the abortion industry, what do they immediately do? This is going to hurt poor minority women. That is their go-to, because we can't have poor people and we certainly can't have minorities breeding, And so their inner eugenicist comes out. And then that clinic in Jackson, Mississippi, it closed the day of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Yeah. And all they said is that they will never close because they want to serve the health care of poor minority women in Mississippi. And then day one, it's like they didn't even make it to lunch. And they closed. And I guess the poor minority women in Mississippi are on their own now. And they immediately moved to El Paso, on the other side, in New Mexico. And there's like 6 of these abortion facilities. And I know Texas is big, and everybody thinks, oh man, Texas, it's got so many people, and it does. But we live in Houston, okay, which is 8 million people. El Paso is like 14 hours from our house. Like, the notion that somehow, we're going to be on the border of Texas. They're in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot of people out there. You can't keep 6 abortion facilities open. It is crazy. That is what's happening. And it's great. And it boils down to panic. And that's why in these sort of uncertain times, it's appropriate that they panic. Because abortion is the only thing where you have to reject three things all at once. You can reject them individually at different points, but this is the only thing where they reject all three: science, reason, and God. You've got to throw all three out. And there's really very few other things in our culture. You can throw out God, but you acknowledge science. People do that all the time. But you have to reject all three. And that is why so many people change their minds. That is why the pro-life movement is not just getting more effective, but it's getting younger by the year. It's getting larger and younger.